Hello, 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 everybody. My name is Bright Rose, and welcome back to Minecraft here on ZombieCraft, the one and only Patreon server of the Lord of all Undead, Zombie Cleo themselves. We are here at the first build celebration area of the new server, and the theme, as has been apparently chosen by the various members of ZombieCraft, is Renaissance Fair. Now, I believe this is the American Renaissance Fair kind of thing, and I, as a European, don't really experience this. However, I am, or was, disability's a bitch, a LARPer, so I know a thing or two about the whole medievally setup kind of thing. So that's what I'm going to use as a bit of basis of this. And I have an idea that I'm going to drag the other Shenanigans members into to get this idea built. So I've selected an area just between my beautiful ears here, and I'm going to build something of a little medieval village with a little bit of a, LARP town centre addition to it. The kind of thing of the large events that I used to go to around the UK. So that's my idea. And that's what we're going to do. As with any new build area, the torch spam is real, and this area is just away from all the other bits that have been built on so far. So making it safe was, well, an absolute priority, because I'm not getting blown up by creepers, or more than likely eaten alive by a baby zombie. So let's have a look at the area that I've selected. Zooming out with the wonders of the cheaty cam, we can look over this general area, and it's this little cliff section here running around this river, and I am getting ideas for what we can do with this area. It's gonna take a bit of prep, some messing around with the landscape, but I can see a lot of potential with this. The main thing that I'm thinking is that we have some sort of bridge that goes from this area here over to this lower area, and then we use this as a kind of ramp to come up and round into what is probably going to be the village area on top of this mountain like this. That lava pond probably won't last. Might turn into a water feature. We'll see. But this is what I'm thinking. And what we can do is we can have some nice custom cliffs going down the side here. We can flatten a lot of this area off. We can maybe use the top bit here for some sort of castle, lording it over this lower area. But I think there's a lot of potential here to use the existing landscape, and with a few little touches and changes here and there, and make it into something of a medieval style LARP fantasy-esque little township on top of here. But the first stage is going to be completely flattening out some of these areas and digging a little trench up here. I built a quick bridge just with a slight curve going across this river here. It's just a sort of hash out with stone at the moment, but it gives the general idea of exactly where I'm wanting the bridge to come over, and I'm probably gonna improve the curve a bit in the future so it has a nice curve round into this bit here with the way up. And this slope here, I want it to be a nice gradual rise up to the main level of where the village little township is going to be, probably with steps 3, 4, maybe a little bit more blocks long, just to give that nice gentle walk upwards. And we'll probably slab it as well, so there's no jumping between blocks to get up there, and it'll be a nice little transition from this lower area with the bridge up to the top here. And what we can probably do when the cliffs are in, we can add a little gatehouse or something like that over here to usher you in to the settlement from this area over here. It happened. The prophecy has been fulfilled. There is a baby zombie. Get away, you little monster. Go, get here. Die? Yes! I would eat your flesh, but it would sicken me. Now that I've cut the pathway in, I've also done a little bit of terraforming just on this cliff here to give it a nice, more natural looking edge here. And once this is blended in to the larger cliffs going around here, and we have something of a wall going around the top of the cliff, it'll really blend all of this landscape in together. And of course, we're going to mirror it again on this side with the bigger cliffs here. And it's going to make a very nice entrance into the little village here. With this platform, with these steps going up here, I reduced them to mainly 3 instead of 4 or 5, just because as I was doing 4 all the way up, it became a lot more steep in the sense that it dug into the cliff a lot more than I wanted it to. And doing it 3 by 3 like this is giving it a nice, gentle way up, which then opens up as you get to the top here, and it'll provide a nice opening to be able to go to the right there, to the left, and anything that we might add up on the high point of the plateau too. I've done a little bit more landscaping here, just messing around with the tops of the cliff here. This, I think, is probably going to be the level that the village is built at. So I'm going to cut away these 2 layers here and bring it down to this level, and then probably do a similar thing on this side, or maybe keep this side at a slightly lower level, maybe like this one here, and then extend that round to what will be the top of the cliff, coming round like that. That way we get a nice transition from the cliffs coming up from the water onto the top here, and we can have a little wall somewhere like this, maybe 3 or 4 blocks high, like a palisade wooden wall going around the edge of the village like that. That'll give us plenty of area to put buildings and pathways and things like that on top of here, and then have this top bit here as being like the fort, the castle, something like that, on top, looking out over the entire area. Well, that's what I'm thinking. And as it is a Thursday afternoon right now at the time of recording, I will be streaming tonight. So I think it might be interesting to do this build celebration as a part YouTube, part streaming series. And we'll see how that goes. I think it'd be quite cool to just show the process as we go and work through it all. But I'm really liking this start that I've made here. I think I need to continue this rock work up into this area here and just blend this in, and then with the cliff coming down like that. That's going to work out pretty damn well. And then of course we'll have the like gatehouse going across here, and I'll do a better curve. It might end up being just a straight diagonal across, or I might try and do a little bit of more of a fancy curve, maybe an S curve coming across here for the bridge. But we'll see exactly what works as I trial a few ideas in the future for that one. Through a little bit of messing around, some attempted calculations, which apparently I don't have the brain power to work out, I've created this kind of sweeping curve leading from one side of the river to the other. It's a little bit off, doesn't quite work out evenly, so I've just kind of added to it here and there to make it at least look aesthetically pleasing as you look at it. It could also do, if you look at where I'm stood to the top left there, it is a little bit out of line. It could actually probably do with being 1 or 2 blocks to the right of where I'm standing, just to fully line it up with the stepped pathway going up onto the top of the village area, which I might do, or I could just add a few blocks to that top side of the bridge to make it a little bit wider and then extend it that way. It would probably only need 1 or 2 more blocks just to push it out that way a little bit. And that is probably the easiest way of doing it, because tearing the whole thing down just to move it a block or so to the side is going to be a bit of a big ask, but I'm quite pleased with how this has come out. I think it's, well, like I say, quite aesthetically pleasing, and once you add the sort of wooden pillars and uh, cross beams going over here, I think it's gonna look pretty damn good. I'm liking how I'm imagining it, and what we can do is like we can have these pillars coming up, some cross braces going diagonally to support the middle section of the bridge, coming from the edge here, and then maybe a few small wooden towers coming off either end of the land side, just to add it all together. It is the day after my stream, and we have got some progress to look at that was done, well, live on the stream. So let's have a look. Sani, one of my good friends from the Shenanigans crew, was so kind as to drop on and do a little bit of clearing out for me. So we have the upper plateau pretty much finished now, and dropping down here, we can see that this area has been smoothed out even more, and the lower plateau is also pretty much cleared out. However, I am going to have to build up this bit of land here, but you know, we've got plenty of grass and dirt to do that with, thanks to Sandy collecting it all for me. But the main thing that I want to show is down here, down at the bridge, because I was able to actually finish it off on stream, which, you know, in terms of a progress thing, is pretty damn amazing. So we have a gateway. I put this little archway in. I did originally do it with the fences. I didn't like how it looked. So now we have this little arch made out of spruce and jungle, and a nice big open doorway placed across here, which, you know, works with the theme that I'm going for. But what I want to look at is the completed bridge. So dropping into the wonders of Cheatycam, we can have a look at the completed bridge, and I'm just so happy with how it came out. This is what we saw yesterday, the linked area. I've added a little bit of grass around here just to create the lower area of the walkway here, so it fits into the landscape better, and we don't have these slabs that makes this out rising above the grass, and it blends all the way in. And I've added these dirt paths bit here and there just to add a little bit of height difference and also color variation between the surface of the bridge and the areas around it. And I like it. It has come out pretty much as I imagined it. Going to the underside now, we have these little bits of structure here that connect the sides of the cliff to the top here, and this central pillar, as well as a couple of little random dangly bits coming off with these walls and chains and lanterns, because of course I'm gonna have to get this sort of things into one of my build. I put them everywhere. We're not going to look at the bottom of this, it's kind of rough. I could, I suppose, if I really wanted to, go underneath this and add a slab layer along the bottom edge of here, just so it kind of neatened it all up. But I don't think that's a pressing thing right now. So I'm kind of content just to leave it. If I complete the cliff work and I come back and I kind of look at it and think, you know what? No, it needs completing. I might do it then. But for now, I'm very happy with what's been done. And the next stage is going to be working on the cliffs, going from the river up to these set levels that we have here. And once all of that stonework is done, we can start planning out the village proper on top of the areas. What's the matter, little drowned? Are you stuck in the water and can't get out? Oh no! Oh, wouldn't you like to be able to just step up here onto land and get me? But no, no you can't. If one of you happens to spawn with a trident, I'd be happy to come down and play with you. But no. Oh, hello. Have you picked up one of my... No, you haven't picked up one of my blocks. Ah, that would have been a reason I'd have got in the water with you, though. Oh, look at you all. So happy frolicking in the water. Where did I put my frying pan? Right. Time to clean up the waterways. Thought I'd stop in as I'm, well, probably not even a third of the way through it, to be honest, and just look as I'm beginning to do the cliff work. What I've done is I've established a lower and an upper area for where I want the bottom and the top of the cliff to be. And then I've shaved off a lot of the dirt and the grass that is on top of the rock layers. And then I've begun putting a wireframe in for what I want the shape of the cliff to look like. And then I'm going to go in and fill in each of these sections from the bottom to the top, because, you know, that's the easiest way to do it if you're not going to put a lot of scaffolding and everything everywhere. And that is going to be the shape of the cliff. I've left this little area here between what is the top building surface where the village is going to be and the top of the stone, because here is where I'm going to put the various blocks, light dirt, light grass, probably coarse dirt as well, maybe a bit of dripstone blocks, just in here to be the area at the top of the cliff where the glass, where it is coming over the edge of the cliff. And that just makes that transition between this top area and the cliff a lot easier. But this is kind of the midway stage of making the actual cliff. And then what I've got to do is extend this all the way around to this point here, and potentially around this side as well. Most likely, as I've said before, leaving this little bit sticking out, so maybe to about there as well, but we'll see if we get to that. Currently on the opposite side of the river here, and I've completed all of the wireframe for the stonework at the moment. No, pig, you can't have any of my carrots, go away. And now I'm beginning to... I don't care if you've got friends, go away. Shoo. Thank you, piggies. I'm keeping that in. Okay, slight confession time, because I am currently swimming under the water, linking the bottom edge of the cliff to the landscape underneath, because I just couldn't let it go. I didn't like the fact that it wasn't connected and the stone was just floating there, so now I'm getting damp and doing this. But, you know, it's probably for the best. I will admit I'm not being exactly 100% about this. I am breaking a couple of my rules, such as having dirt being underneath stone, but you know what? I don't think anybody is actually going to come down here and look at this, so it's probably not going to be an issue. It's purely that it was annoying me that it didn't connect properly. So that's why I'm doing this. No other reason. It's a complete waste of resources and time, but it's being done because otherwise it would have annoyed me. And that's a big hole that I would have to fill in, so that is absolutely not getting the stone put in it, because yeah, that probably isn't working. Squid, you have been a wet, slimy thorn in my side for too long, swimming into all the places where I tried to put blocks. Now get lost. Go away. That's it. Swim over there. Come back. You are getting the frying pan. One of the problems that you kind of have whilst you're doing bits of terraforming like this is because you're pressed up so close to the rock face, you know, pretty much all the time, because, well, we're building a cliff. You kind of lack the big perspective view. So it always pays when you get to a point where you maybe get a bit lost, or you're not entirely sure where you need to go next, or just to have a look at what work you've done. You take a moment to just step back, maybe have a bit of a fly around, get a look at what you've done, where you're building up to, and things like that. Of course, if you have the means to do so, because you've got the mods installed, using the wonder that is the cheaty cam, is a lot better than that. Of course, you probably won't have shift permanently on like I do, but it is a really good way just to be able to have a look back, see how the cliff that you've just been doing is working, whether you need to curve it in a little bit more, or maybe add a little bulk out, or even if you've missed a block somewhere. It just makes it so much easier. Something that I think is perhaps not thought of as much, or, you know, not even really given the thought at all when you're doing landscaping and stuff like this, is the enchants and things that you have on your gear that make life so much easier. And elytra is pretty much a given. Your ability to fly around, look at things, just zip around and make your life so much easier. But having things like feather falling and swift sneak on your gear, and also having the water breathing on your helmet, really makes doing landscaping like this much easier, especially as I spend all my time crouched down, moving from block to block. Doing so with Swift Sneak makes things a lot easier, a lot faster, and also, and it really can't be underestimated, just having the ability to dive between all of these rock surfaces to quickly get down, to chase a block, to when you've finished a bit up here, to get back down to the next bit. Feather falling will save your life constantly. And not just saving your life, just the fact that you could drop a decent number of blocks and then not take any damage, just not have to bother eating, which saves you time in the end. It really is important to have certain enchants on your gear. It just makes the quality of life so much better. I thought the first part of this, just doing the landscaping and things like that, would be a quick, simple thing I could probably, knock out in an afternoon or so. But no, of course it hasn't been. And to be honest, there's still bits of it here and there that aren't finished. I'd like to add a few more light blocks and slabs on this side to match up with what's going on over here. But I will get that sorted, at some other point. Because if I don't start planning out the next things, it's going to be a little difficult. But first of all, I think we have to address the stunning appearance in the room. I've got a new skin just for the, I'm building in this medieval fantasy look. The D&D-esque thing is what I think I'm going to be going for right now. As I've been building this, I've been kind of solidifying the ideas in my head for this Ren Faire build competition. And so, well, I've given Rose a little makeover. We've got a whole tavern girl look thing going on. I suppose I should say tavern wench. That's what I'm going for. I'll provide a link to the actual skin down there because I've modded it slightly, but it was a free to use one I got off the internet after googling Minecraft tavern wench skin. So yeah, we're now going the full cat girl look, and the tail is back. It's back. We've got the ears that are off the ZombieCraft server, and my god, I'm loving this skin. This is what I'm going to be using whilst I'm making this build, because I look stunning, and you know I do. We should actually have a look at the build. So, the build is pretty much done with this front end, with the cliffs and things like that. I've got them extending all the way down, going a little bit underneath the water. Haven't quite blended it in all the way around the corners yet, but we'll add a little bit of that in here and there. I've added some mossy blocks, some moss blocks, some mossy cobble, things like that, just at the bottom here, as well as a couple of leaves to blend this area in. And we've got a little bit of step work going on here with the slabs, in this case, andesite. And we've got some stone stairs and slabs dotted in around here, just to give it that little bit of more detail. And then at the top here, we've got the overhanging grass, dirt, and coarse dirt here going into the dripstone blocks underneath here, just to add this overhang at the top, with a little bit of leaf blocks coming down like this. But this is what I was going for. And again, we've got the curving bridge going into this little depression here, where you're going to be able to go up into the 2 levels of the village. And I've put a little tumble down stone wall just going around this outside area, just so we can define what the edge of these little settlements is going to be. And then we're going to start adding in the various little buildings just dotted around, so we can establish where the buildings are going to be, where the pathways and roads are going to be throughout the settlement, and just what we need to push back in order to get the right amount of area. And looking at the space we've got at the moment and what the rough kind of building sizes are, I think what I'm going to have to do is probably cut out this area here of this mountain down to this level, so to where those trees are, and probably drop down underneath the beacon as well. As you can see, the beacon has become full of squid heads. If you saw the stream from a few days ago, yeah, that's Pseudo's busy. That we've got a shulker box full of squidding for Sani over there. But this is a very good start. And I think what I'm going to do up here, as I said, I think we're going to have a big main house or a castle or something like that on top of this hill. So we'll cut away the top of this hill and we'll build some sort of a castle on top of there. I haven't decided yet whether I want to do it as a full actual build. I want to do it as a sort of theatre prop facade, where it is the front of this beautiful detailed castle, and then behind it we have the beams and various things holding it up, so you only see it from the front because it's completely fake. I think that would be kind of cool to have, but we could have that, cut this down, build a castle and stick it there. I think that'll look pretty damn good, but I am very pleased with what we've managed to achieve so far, and I'm going to continue this. We've got until the end of the month when the build competition finishes, and next week we're going to start placing the various buildings around up in these areas up there. So I'm looking forward to that. If you want to see more, do drop a like, subscribe, notification, all of those things you're supposed to do with YouTube. Do follow the various links through to Twitch as well, because I'm going to be streaming building this every Thursday whilst this little series is going on. And if you enjoy this little build competition series, then I'm probably going to continue doing it for each and every build celebration that happens on the ZombieCraft server. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed. I will be back in future videos, but for now, goodbye everyone.